Hello again. In this video I thought I'd have a quick look at Sherman tracks and aftermarket. I'm currently assembling this rather lovely Asuka Sherman Firefly, and I'm not entirely satisfied with the tracks that they provide in the box. So they're rubber band tracks, and in and of themselves there's nothing wrong with rubber band tracks, especially for a vehicle like a Sherman. But there are two things that I'm not quite satisfied with. Firstly is just an aesthetic one. I would kind of like the track with the duckbill extensions on. There's just something aesthetically pleasing about those. I'd like to have those on the Sherman I'm building. May possibly have them on the Sherman I'm building. And the kit provided tracks do not have the duckbills on. And secondly, the rubber band tracks that come with them, and I'll show you here. You get two of them, or two per side that join up to make one run, and they're pretty good. They're very nicely moulded, but if we look close up, we'll see that there are mould lines around the edge, which they're extremely fine. These mould lines. I don't know if you can see it sort of running all the way through. The length of the track there. It's very fine, but I wonder if that might be visible when it's painted. But other than that, the tracks are pretty good. There are a few little casting pins here, which will probably be easily hidden with the wheels and other running gear. And the other thing that I'm not quite satisfied with is the way they sit around the sprocket. Now, obviously, they fit the pitch is fine. But sort of when they're wrapped around, there's still a little bit of flex as they sit between the teeth. Now, if you were to glue them in really tightly, you may be able to eliminate that gap there, which just sort of takes away from my mind the realism of tracks around the sprocket. When you press them in, they fit absolutely perfectly, but if you just release the pressure, they sort of bounce back out again and just don't look right. Now, if that's the best that I can have on my model, fine. I'll be happy with that and cover it in mud or something, or just hope that it doesn't offend my eye too much that I notice it. But I thought I'll have a go at trying some aftermarket ones, and there are several aftermarket tracks that's available. The one I chose primarily because, well, I could find it easily online in stock in the UK is the AFV Club set of T48 tracks. So I thought maybe we'd have a look at what's inside that quite large box and see how the tracks assemble and if they fit the Asuka sprocket ring. So here is the quite large box, and inside the large box is just a small packet of plastic parts. Several half a dozen sprues there, all parts on the sprues, including the duckbills. So let's have a quick look inside and see what we get. As I say, there's half a dozen of these sprues in here, each containing the links themselves, the duckbills, and the end connectors. So I'm going to snip a few of these off, and I'll attempt to put a run together. Let's see how easily they fit, if they're sturdy enough to be workable, as they claim they are, and importantly for my project, let's see if they fit around the Asuka sprocket ring. The first thing to be mentioned is that the links have two injection points, one on either side, and a sort of rather noticeable knockout pin mark on every interface. The interface also appears to be slightly concave. Now I've cleaned up this one, and you can see it's easy enough to clean off the edges, but there's still a sort of a prominent mark, even though it's been scraped and sanded. it's still noticeable. I think it's because the inner face of the links are concave. This is going to be a bit of a bugger to clean up all these, but I shall persevere with a few. The end connectors have a single injection point to be cleaned off, but that's straightforward enough. I can't see any other problem with these connectors. The duck bills have, again, just one point to clean up, and that's easy enough. So I'm going to clean up a number of these links. Let's see how much of a pain it is to get the inner faces blemish free. I'll clean up some end connectors and some duck bills, and then I'll come back and have a go at assembling them and see how easily they go together. Well, that was a pain in the arse. It's an easy job to clean them up, and all I've been using is a knife and a sanding stick. It's going to take a long time though, but in fairness, I suppose many of the blemishes that need or that I have been cleaning may not necessarily need to be cleaned, because they're going to be in places which are going to be very difficult to see. The edges are going to be very, very difficult to see, and anyway, on the real thing, I'm sure there must have been moulding lines around those rubber blocks. And those little nubs can just be the moulding nubs can be just sliced off. And when the links are placed end to end, side to side, they're not going to be visible. Those faces. The knockout pin in the middle, again, it's pretty simple to get rid of, but may not need to do all of the links because many of them are going to be hidden by the wheels and the idler and the sprockets and so forth. But I've got the decision to make now. Do I clean every link, or do I plan and just clean the ones that are potentially going to be visible? It may take longer to do all that planning and figuring out how many I'll need to clean that will be visible and where to place them so that they are visible, and the ones that are unclean can remain invisible. It might just be easier just to clean every single link and put them all together and be sure that there will be no pin marks anywhere visible anywhere on the run of track. That's a decision to be made. The plastic's very soapy. I've not used AFV Club plastic before. Not encountered. I have a couple of them in my stash, but this is the first time I've opened a packet and started using them. I'm surprised how soapy this plastic is. It's really gooey. Fine, it is what it is. Have to work with it. Now the assembling them is going to be an almighty pain. I'd hoped that these end connectors would be a push fit onto the trap pins, and friction would hold them in place. But no, not at all. The links all fit together very nicely, but these end connectors, I don't know if you can. No. Ironically, there we go. These end connectors are very loose, and there's no friction fit there at all. So they will need to be stuck with something to stop them falling off. Now, if I use polystyrene cement, of course, that will eventually make the track unworkable. So, do I make short runs of these? So the bottom run is essentially going to be flat. Make a long run of these tracks flat. Glue it all together, and then make runs for around the idler and the sprocket. I don't know. I'm sitting here thinking, is this going to be worth it, mate? You know, shall I just go to the rubber band tracks? It's going to be a lot easier. But you know, I've set myself this challenge of at least finding out. So I'm going to have a go. I'm going to try gluing some now. I want to know if they fit around this Asuka sprocket ring. So by the end of this video, at least I would have found out that answer. So now let's go on, let's glue a few together and see how that goes. Right, I'm going to do this the difficult way and just do one little bit at a time. Let's put an end connector on, run a little bit of polystyrene cement up the end of the connector and see what happens. And if I bring another one in, just glue one at a time, because I think it's too difficult to try to make a run of these and then glue them all together. It seems to be, for me anyway, with my sausage fingers, it seems to be the best thing to use to do it this way. Incidentally, I'm using sausage fingers because I have lost one of these end connectors already to the carpet monster, and ironically, it wasn't my fat fingers that caused the loss. It was holding it in a pair of tweezers. The piece pinged out and has gone to the carpet monster. So far, so good. I've not lost any through using my fat fingers, so I'm going to continue using fat fingers and see how far I get before I lose patience with it all. Now you'll notice I've turned the tracks the other way up. This is because it's all too easy laying them flat. All too easy to place one of these on the wrong way round, like so. So I'm to ensure that I don't make a cock up like that. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to try doing it this way. Boy, this is fiddly. And there we go. Not enough glue on that one. That's fallen apart. Let's put a little spot more in there. Of course, my fear is that by doing it this way, I'm not going to be able to bend and manipulate the track once I've assembled it. Oh, ping! There we go. Should have used my fat fingers. And maybe it's time now to start putting the other end connectors on. Whew. Actually, now I've got them like this, maybe I can do the whole run before I cement them. It's not easy trying to do it under the camera either, but I will persevere. Oh, there we go. There's another one gone. Come back. No, you know what? Let's glue them again, one at a time. A friction fit would be so much better, I feel. Right, well, that's a run of 5. Not so bad. And while they're still relatively movable, let's bring in the sprocket and see. This is the moment of truth. Oh, look at that. Crikey. They don't fit easily, I'll tell you that much. Oh, hang on. Okay. Maybe I was too hasty there. I was expecting the worst there, suspecting the worst. Oh, actually, do you know what? That's pretty darn good. Yeah, that'll teach me to be hasty in thought. Okay. That's a pretty darn good fit. I don't think that could be better, in fact. Yeah. Although, I don't know. Is it the case that the pitch is very good and they fit in between the sprocket ring teeth easily enough, but that they may be a tad too wide for these sprockets, do you think? I don't know that I can force that in. It pops in, but it kind of wants to pop back out again. Or one side pops in, the other pops out. Oh, the joys of modelling, eh? Still, problem solving, it's all part of it, isn't it? Actually, I wonder if, now looking at this, playing with this, it might be better, more realistic to assemble the tracks around the sprocket ring and kind of glue them to the sprocket ring. Of course, that would make painting a pain, but it might work. It might work. Of course, what I haven't done yet is put any of the duckbills on. Now, dare I use tweezers for this? Yeah, why not? Why not? Now they just pop onto the end connectors straight on like that, I believe. There's a little I don't know if you can see it on the duckbill, on the mating surface. There is a little square molded on, which I believe fits into a void in the end connector, so they sort of go in like that. Well, again, it's going to have to be done painstakingly, one at a time, and let's just see what happens. Well, I think that's okay. It looks all right to me. I wanted to see if they would fit around the Asuka sprocket ring, and I've shown that they do, albeit with a little bit of effort required, maybe a little bit of fettling, but they do fit okay around there. The problem is going to be the fiddly nature of firstly the cleanup of all the little parts. The duckbills and end connectors, the cleanup's no problem. It's just a quick swipe of a blade and the moulding nub has gone. But it's like I was saying with the links themselves. How far do I go with those? How many do I clean up fully? How many do I risk leaving uncleaned? I will face that dilemma off camera. You don't need to see me sweating that, do you? But okay, just for the purposes of this video, I've achieved what I set out to. Show that these AFV Club links do fit around the Asuka sprockets. Whatever I do, I'll come back and show you another stage on the build at some point. Cheers. Thanks for watching, and see you again.